Thank you. Thank you for all you. This is an important moment in awarding doctoral degrees honoris causa. St. Thomas University recognizes a recipient as deserving of respect and honor for the life he has led. This year, we honor Mr. Michael Fernandez, the chairman of MBF Healthcare Partners, LP. Please come forward. I also would like to have the honor to invite Dr. Maria D. Espino to join him at the podium.
Mike Fernandez is a highly successful entrepreneur who has built his career buying and growing a succession of healthcare service companies. With the proceeds from their sale, he has then concentrated on giving back to his South Florida adopted homeland. Mike, you were born in Manzanillo, a small town in southeast Cuba, the son of a shopkeeper, living above the warehouse. When you were 12, you left Cuba with your parents and your sister and came to the United States, not in Miami, but to Manhattan. Your successful journey began when you gained admission to Xavier High School, an elite Jesuit high school in New York City. One of your teachers organized a field trip to hear the New York Philharmonic, and it was there that you studied successful people, such as patron of arts, and you learned that is what you wanted to be. Even though you were not an A student, you were a good listener, an observer, and knew where you were going in the future. You attended Northwest Virginia Community College and later the University of New Mexico. From 1972 to 1975, you served in the U.S. Army. Your first venture in the healthcare business was in 1976, when you arrived in Miami at the age of 23 and sold healthcare insurance to Air Florida and other airlines. Today, you are chairman of MBF Healthcare Partners, a private equity firm focusing on healthcare service companies throughout the nation, with assets of more than 500 million. You are also the major shareholder of Navarro Discount Pharmacy and NutriForce, a vitamin manufacturing and distribution company. And you serve on the board of directors of Mednax, Inc., a national medical group. Recently, you organized a partnership to provide a new alliance with Medicaid specifically to service patients with HIV/AIDS. You have befriended and advised many national and international leaders in business and government, yet you remain warm and approachable friend to people in all strata of society, especially in our community. For many years now, you have made generous financial contribution to education, healthcare, and the arts. Today, we're sitting in a building which bear your name, used for leadership development, teaching, and sports. You are a passionate supporter of education and a consummated mentor. Just this Christmas season, you helped a fellow Cuban refugee whose business was down by buying all the Christmas tree he had to sell, and then offering to pay for his liver transplant. This was not the first time you helped someone in need of life-saving surgery. Some time ago, you paid for the lung transplant of a 14-year-old girl. You have served on the board of United Way of Miami-Dade County, Miami Children's Hospital, the University of Miami, the Sylvester Cancer Center. You have been frequently honored for your business acumen, including the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award in 1995. You have 4 wonderful sons and a daughter. Your devoted wife, Constance, is a trustee of St. Thomas University and share in your philanthropic endeavors. Mike, yours is the story of the quintessential American dream. You're a true entrepreneurship. You see an opportunity that other people will pass by and you act on it. But you are more than that. You are also a proud family man and a philanthropist who takes pleasure in giving back to improve the life of many people. In recognition of all these accomplishments, the St. Thomas University Board of Trustees directs the president of the university to confer on you an academic degrees honoris causa.
By the power vested in me as president of St. Thomas University by the Board of Trustees in the state of Florida, I hereby confer upon you, Miguel Mike Fernandez, the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Mike Fernandez will be hooded by his wife, Constance Fernandez, a member of the Board of Trustees. I now present him with his doctoral certificate and a copy of the citation.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you. First of all, I am a little bit warm here because of the lights that are on us. But I'm also sweating it out because your three fellow class speakers copied my notes. I am humbled to be here with you today. Archbishop, thank you for this honor. Members of the board, faculty, parents, graduating class. I have been given 7 minutes, so I assure you this will be short. Today, we recognize your accomplishment. We recognize your discipline. The discipline that I did not have when I was your age, not even at 52. You're indeed special human beings. Look at the road that you have traveled that has gotten you to this place here today. I would like to pretend and ask you to pretend with me that we are, in fact, in my living room, in a chair, looking at each other as we have a conversation on adversity and the overwhelming importance of overcoming every challenge that faces you in life. We have all experienced adversity at one degree or another. Some of us have experienced failure. What makes us very different is the way we handle it from the person next to us. We have to embrace adversity. Failure and adversity are necessary steps on the road to success. Believe me, success is overrated. It teaches us little. It feels good, but it feeds mainly our ego. Success is not all that you think it's going to be. Adversity is probably the greatest teacher you will ever have. Failure is a humbling experience, also a wonderful teacher. I will make a point, a simple point, by pointing out the following. I remember as a young man having a hammer in one hand, a nail in another, and I was nailing that nail onto a board. I must have swung that hammer 20, 50, 100 times, and yet I don't remember one single swing, except for the one that hit my thumb. I've had my share of adversities myself, but they're small in comparison to others, and probably in comparison to yours. I have failed at my initial vision of 11 different companies, yet I did not quit one of them. We adjusted, we advanced, we hired. During those 36 years, we have employed close to 70,000 people, and we stuck it out. We never quit. Personally, I've had another area of failure which personally somewhat painful. I failed at 2 marriages before I found the love of my life. I have also failed at taking care of myself. I've had a heart attack at age 52. I had another one at age 54. And 2 years ago, I was told I had cancer. I walked into 3 different cancer centers looking for an answer that I wasn't going to get. I had surgery, and it's in remission, so I am fine. You may think that I've been cursed. I know that I have been blessed. I've been blessed by the knowledge to face adversity. And from each event, I recovered not as a perfect human being, but as a better one. It was 2 years ago, last Saturday, that I sat on a bench looking at Biscayne Bay. There was not one cloud in the sky, and there was a breeze blowing, and I wasn't sure whether I had 6 months or 6 years to live. Some people measure their life by those they leave behind. Some people measure their life by the faith that they have. Some people feel that life has no meaning at all. To me, life is a legacy that you leave and people measure themselves against you. That is what really counts. Life is about leadership. Life is how to get up after falling down. It is up to you when you become my age or maybe older, when you are reminiscing about your life, when you are reviewing in your mind your life story, it is up to you whether you're going to write, I was mediocre, or I am, as my youngest 8-year-old says, I have lived an epic life. Remember one sentence. In adversity, you will find a seed of equivalent value. In adversity, you will find the seed of equivalent value. In troubled times, you find opportunity. You always are driven by a vision. But my journey has been easy compared to that of others. Let me tell you about a man that I met. I didn't read about him. I did not see a movie about him, although his story could be in a movie. I actually only met him last week. He was born in a small town in a foreign land, like many of you, or your parents, or your grandparents. At age 14, you have siblings, you have daughters that are 14. At age 14, he's sentenced to jail for an act of political disagreement. At 14, he's hard-headed, and he fights. He's tortured. I've seen his scars, his legs, his back, his stomach. For years, he stays in because what becomes an initial 4-month sentence turns out to be decades. One day, he begins planning, how do I escape? How do I get out? And he thought, if I could just get transferred to a hospital, I may be able to get out. So he did the unthinkable to you and I, because he had a vision of freedom, he had a vision of a better life, he had a vision of a better life for his family. He injected gasoline into each arm. The hope was that he would be hospitalized. But his guards were not that caring, and actually did not hospitalize him. They kept him in the cell until the skin began to turn green. He had gangrene in both arms, and then both arms were amputated. He was 19 years old. Yet this man is not ashamed to face adversity. They tried to break his spirit over the next 10 years, and they couldn't. So he tattooed the American flag. He had somebody actually tattoo the American flag on his back. And he had tattooed on his chest, happiness is 90 miles away. In an act of rebellion, he was again punished. This time by having the guards rub salt and lemon on his skin, trying to scrub up the American flag into the white, that the skin is the color of the white piece of paper. He was let go, but he was never free. He tried coming to the U.S. 5 times. The first 2 swimming on his back with no arms. Talk about a vision. Talk about adversity. He makes it the 5th time by seeing a raft that is going out, and he follows it. And swimming on his back, he yells, "Pick me up, get me in." And they said, "We can't." He says, "If you don't get me in, I will follow you until I drown." They let him in. He arrived in this country 5 years ago. No arms. Doesn't speak English. Spent his time in most of his young life in jail, so therefore not highly educated, but he had a vision. When he arrived, a family member said, "This is going to be easy for you. You can hang a can from your neck, stand at a traffic light in Coral Gables, and you will make $50 to $100 a day." And he said to the family members, I didn't come here to ask for charity. I'll figure out what to do. So with his stubs arm, he went out collecting avocados. And he began selling them behind the store. People came and bought avocados for him. And then it was orchids. And then it was flowers. Within 3 years, he saved enough money to bring his daughter, his son, and his wife to this country. Within 5 years, this man who has no arms, does not speak the language, had an easy way out by standing in a corner asking for a handout, chose to work. He had saved $30,000. He invested this money. He bought Christmas trees, and then he had the unfortunate luck that for whatever wisdom, the county, the city, decided to close the street in front of his business for repairs. So his business and his life savings and his dream were going to be shattered. But he didn't quit there. He made his story be known. He went to the press. He said, "Look what they have done to me. Look what they have done to the store. I'm not asking for a handout. I just want for them to let me work." People came, people helped. He traded trees for cash. He saved his business. He saved his family. He is indeed in need of a transplant, and he shall get one. He never let adversity beat him. He fell down, but he got up. He's a role model to anyone who thinks they're having a bad day. If there's a picture in the dictionary of adversity, it should be the picture of this man. And he happens to be here with us today. His name is Jorge Alberto, and he's sitting right here. I hope that we all remember him when we're having a bad day. Our car doesn't start, we get a flat tire. The kids don't want to have breakfast, they don't want to have dinner. They're yelling and we're trying to study, we're trying to do the work. Think about Jorge. I will borrow a phrase from a friend. At home we call it whack. What a country. I have been privileged to travel the world. I have been north and south, east and west. I've traveled Africa, Southeast Asia, Europe, Russia, South America. I've even been to a strange place called Key West. So, what a country. What a country that is not perfect, but there's none better. What a country that has adopted us as equals, although we were not its native sons and daughters. What a country that allows us to fall down but get up. It's just a matter of willpower to do so. What a country that offers us the opportunity to define our destiny. What a country that doesn't impose limitations, only those that you can imagine. What a country in which your name doesn't matter, neither does your pedigree. It's your actions that define you. There are countries that unless you have the right name, you cannot go to a certain club, you cannot have certain employment. But here, you make yourself into whatever you want to do. It's a beautiful land of transformation. What a country, because we can differ on our political issues, but when the campaign is over and the votes are casted, there's no blood on the street. We all sit down and break bread together. What a country, because you are that country. You are the future. You are the dreams. You are the reason why this is what a country. As with George, adversity will challenge you in life. Never give up. Reach for the unreachable. Anyone that tells you to reach for reasonable goals, ignore them. I was told early on that I should have been a fireman or a policeman because I was highly undisciplined and I needed very structured environment. Reach for the unreachable. Set high standards. After all, there's a minor little thing that is going to depend on your standards. Your reputation. And once you lose it, there's no way of gaining it back. So reach for the unreachable. Work on that reputation. And don't forget the last part. Once you have reached those goals, give back. Give back to the community that has given so much to you. Give back to your school. Give back to your church. Give back to anybody you want to give back to, but give back. Today, you enlighten the path of the rest of us. Stay on that road. Ladies and gentlemen, embrace adversity. Do not get fooled and sucked into success. Find a passion in your life. After all, you have one life. One life. This is not a dress rehearsal. One life. Do it with gusto. Whether it's a butcher or running the butcher shop or owning Jimmy Dean's Sausage Factory. Embrace it. And with God's help and determination, you will become the leader that you can be. Remember, this is all about you, your country, your family, your vision, and your dreams. So congratulations, and God bless all of you.